What if magic came in colors? You're listening to episode 65 of the What If South is Up podcast, a world building show where D20 gives us a prompt and we try to sound like we've got a plan.
Spoiler! We don't. But we do know how to wing it like an author. I am Christina Xtina Lefebvre.
And I'm Derrick Hall. And Christina, what are you drinking and what's going on in your real world?
So, once again, I'm drinking this wonderful cinnamon liqueur that I like. Aniksh's grandfather might have called it liquid fire, or that sounds way too, what's the word, cliche. Maybe, let's call it sweet fire. Yeah, he calls it sweet fire.
Napalm.
Napalm. He wouldn't call it that. Um, so what's going on in my real world is, let's see, um, getting ready for an art show.
Fun.
Trying to finish up my art, and I have a job interview next week. That's it.
Huzzah. Progress.
Huzzah. Yeah.
Very cool.
And what about you?
I couldn't think of a clever name. I am drinking bourbon and Pepsi.
Bourbon and Pepsi.
Yeah, but lack of creativity is the name of the game today because I said some not
Bopsy.
so. No.
Burpsy.
God
Burpsy.
no. God no. God no. No. Lack of creativity is the name of the game today because I, first thing this morning, managed to step on a tack and put it through my foot. So I said some not so creative words very angrily and have been gimpy and moody for the rest of the day. So
How was a tack sharp end up on the floor?
So here's the thing. I didn't know these existed and I didn't know they were in my house. But they are magnets with a pin that faces out. And then there's supposed to be a cap that goes on the end of the pin so you can pin something to the fridge, which I have no idea why. But there were some of these on the fridge. The cap got lost and I guess it got knocked down and nobody knew it was there. Because they're silver and my floor hides everything.
Good job finding it.
No. There were puddles of things that should remain internal all over my kitchen. It was not fun. But yes, it's been a day and my foot hurts.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. I'll live. It's just gonna hurt for a few days. So, what breakthrough or breakdown have you recently had in your writing or world building?
So, I've been continuing my work on rounding out my outline, and I get really excited when I'm working on it because I'm finding that after all these years, right, I want to keep the story the same that I wanted in the beginning, but in the beginning, I had like 1,000 ideas, and it's amazing to me how many of which ideas are sticking around, and
That's
how I'm
always
able
interesting,
to
yeah.
kind of get these granular, more granular, working on getting rid of the fluff that I don't need, and
Mhm.
really concentrating on what I do need to, what part of the story I do need to tell and stuff like that. So that's been pretty interesting. Um, and probably everybody who listens is tired of me working on this outline, but I don't care. It'll take me as long as it's going to take me, and then once I get through this, then I'll know how to do it and I'll do better next time. But anyways, um
Yeah, the next one's always easier
yeah, I'm sure it will be. And
until you try to finish a series and then you just want to jump off a cliff.
understood.
Yeah,
um
just so you're warned.
but I've been hanging out in the plotter Discord for
Mhm.
that application that I'm working on or have. um and I'm very much enjoying it when people ask about story structure.
Yeah,
And I'm so happy to talk about what I've learned, and it's so interesting to know I've learned things. I may not do them, but I've learned them.
right, right. Yeah, for sure. No, I completely understand. Um, Yeah, so in the absence of book 3 to work on for the first time in 2 years, I've taken to fleshing out some non-Ketra related project ideas.
Oh, nice. It's about good for you. I mean, I'm not gonna say about time because that makes it sound like you haven't been doing anything, but no, it's
No,
about time that you
realistically, it's
get
about
to.
time. I know,
Yeah,
I know.
it's about time you get to.
Yeah, so book 3's off at betas, and I'm losing my mind with nothing to do, so I'm writing other things that have sat on the back burner for a very long time. Um,
Yay.
yep, yep. One of them is done and in editing, but that's an urbacy, urban
I like
fantasy.
urbacy. That's a new word. We have to coin that. Urbacy. I'm writing that down.
Go file the trademark.
Urbacy. Got it. Okay.
Urban fantasy that leans heavily on mythology and history. So that was fun to dig into. And
Whose mythology?
then mythology in general, it pulls a lot.
Okay.
Because specifically I'm following one particular deity through different cultures.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so it pulls a lot of different mythology and kind of blends it together, and yeah, it's fun. Um but that is in process and coming soon, hopefully sometime around Christmas, I'm hoping. Um and the other one is a sarcasm soaked lit RPG with a talking cat.
Well, do people understand this talking cat?
Yes. He
Okay.
actually speaks in like Jane Austen level Victorian English, and it's hilarious. At least I think it is. Because the main character is very dry, very sarcastic, and then you just have an extremely sarcastic Persian cat that sounds like you walked out of a Jane Austen novel, and it's amazing.
Perfect.
So I'm
Oh,
having fun.
perfect.
Okay,
Perfect.
that's enough of that. Moving on. What world have you been exploring, and what did it show you about your own?
Okay. So, I tend to turn on TV shows, series, as white noise in the background while I'm doing dishes or cleaning, and even working on my art recently. Um, and I've been watching slash listening to NCIS New Orleans,
Mm-hmm.
and I realized something that was pretty interesting. Unlike the original NCIS, the NCIS New Orleans is about, well, the location is a character in this story.
Yes.
They use New Orleans, New
Nolans.
Orleans.
Get it right,
uh,
honey. Nolans.
No, no, you can't say Nolans, believe me. I've been told. But, um,
Well, I grew up within spitting distance, and it's Nolans.
I understand, but I've also been told not to say it that way,
Well,
so
you're not from
Nolans.
there, so.
Um, but any case, I'm gonna say Nolans 'cause I'm gonna say New Orleans, that's what I'm gonna say. Anyways, what it's done for me is show me how I can make my world a character, okay, by the little things. They bring in history within the stories, right? Uh,
Mm-hmm.
um, the dialogue is not just an accent, okay? Um, the dialogue talks about how so much someone loves New Orleans, how they love whatever it is, the music, the history, whatever it is.
Oh, I
Um,
know. Such a
and
beautiful city.
it is, and the scenery, it's not just about the scenery. I mean, they take time to get it right, sure, but if you look at the office, the main office for NCIS in New Orleans, it's got the chipped paint, it's got the brick, and it's got the, the
Mm-hmm.
iron, the wrought iron. It is, and they talk about the place, the office, how much they love it, and they spend time in that kitchen, and it's all about the food. So, really, what I've been doing is really appreciating how much this is where, the location is a character, unlike the original NCIS, right, which was
Yeah.
completely about being procedural, but had very interesting, I wouldn't say interesting, say compelling characters, but it was a police procedural, and procedural was the focus of the show.
Yeah.
Have you seen the NCIS Origins?
No, I have not. I haven't really watched
Fan
much of
friggin'
anything
tastic.
past New Orleans.
Oh, fan friggin' tastic. NCIS Origins is awesome. And where NCIS, the original, was procedural with compelling characters, NCIS Origins all about the characters.
Mhm.
It is totally character driven with the time, the era, because it's back in the past,
Mhm.
is completely secondary. The procedural is completely secondary to the characters in the story in it. So, anyways, watching how, they have the NCIS division, whatever, and they have these, and I've also watched a couple others, but just taking these 3 as an example. They
Yeah.
have this they have this setting, a police procedural for the NCIS, and what they can focus on in each one. I don't know. That's just magic.
Mhm.
So,
They built a
that's
franchise off of the procedural because that's what was popular. You were coming out of the original CSI and JAG and things like that, where people enjoyed the technical aspects of it. And moving forward in time, they were able to take that concept and flesh it out into more than a procedural, which is kind of how the culture shift went for network television over time. And I appreciate how they were able to take something that worked and keep it working, but also expand on it. So that's really cool.
it is very cool. It's also when you talk about, watching TV shows and historically and stuff like that, you know, th just like, for instance, the difference between the Star Trek, the original series, and Star Trek, I don't know, give me, not yeah, even Deep
TNG.
Space Nine, um, TNG, but I would say not so much TNG as much as, Voyager. You could see that the audience now wants to know more about the characters.
Mhm.
They they want that continuity, with the characters and stuff like that,
Yeah.
and getting deep into the characters as we've progressed in time. So the
Mhm.
1950s, that the mid 1900s, whatever, it was all about the story because they're coming from stage.
Mhm.
And then you get into the 80s and 90s, and now it's about setting because now they can film outside and they have these different ways of filming that they didn't have before. So,
Mhm.
and now it's gone into character development, and it's just gone so deep in so many different ways. It is very fascinating. I would love to take a class on it.
It's a very
Anyways,
interesting evolution.
it is very, very interesting. But that enough about TV history. What about you? What worlds have you been exploring?
Well, I went back recently to a couple more of my semi-recent TV favorites. Stuff that's come out in the last year or two. Twisted Metal and Fallout. Both of
Oh, you
which
watched
are
Fallout? Yep.
I rewatched Fallout and I rewatched the first season of Twisted Metal.
Mhm.
Both of which are based on video games.
I knew
Both of
that.
which
Yep.
came out about the same time. Um, and we're essentially competing with each other because Twisted Metal is a Peacock thing and Fallout is an Amazon thing, and you know, but um, watching them again, especially watching one and then the other, just like I did, just back to back, one show to the next. Um, they took very opposite approaches to character development, which I find very interesting.
Oh.
Um, I think Fallout did it better, but I also think that's personal preference. So Fallout front loaded the character development, giving you more setting, more backstory right out the gate for the main character. Some of the side characters got it later, but the main character got the character development right up front. Twisted Metal did the opposite. They put their character development at the end of the season. So with Twisted Metal, you fall in love with the guy that he is now and then learn what happened to make him that way. Whereas with Fallout, you see Lucy as she is in the vault, all prim and proper, and 1960s happy suburban neighborhood sort of thing. And then you watch that devolve as her true character comes through, as she learns what she has to do and finds the guts to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So
Interesting.
instead of starting at the end with the road weary, exhausted, violent at a drop of a hat sort of character and working backwards like Twisted Metal did, Fallout started with the happy, the prim and proper, and then worked into the reality. And I hadn't noticed that before, but watching them back to back, I noticed it and I'm like, huh.
Now, do you think that it was because you watched them back to back, or do you think it was because you've become an author slash writer yourself and you're able to recognize this now?
I don't think I would have noticed it if I wasn't in that mindset
Hmm.
necessarily.
Yeah, that's what I think
But
too.
I had already seen both of them. I knew essentially what was happening, where things were going, what was going on. And it let, like, going back and watching something, you can vouch for this. When you've already
Mm-hmm.
seen it, you notice things you didn't notice. So
Yep.
I noticed more of the story structure, the character development, the the foreshadowing of things that I wouldn't have noticed the first time because I didn't know what was coming, that sort of thing. Same with rereading a book. Like, you have a favorite book and you go back to it a couple of years after you read it the first time, you're going to notice something else because you already have the gist of the plot in your head, you know what's going on, but now you have time and brain power to notice the other stuff. So,
It's pretty interesting. I was just telling my friend yesterday. It's so interesting to me how I'll watch a show 2 or 3 times, and I can say that for all the Star Treks.
mhm.
But when I just listen to it, I capture or discover another layer.
Yeah.
So I'm not distracted by visuals, I'm not distracted by what's on moving on the screen or anything like that. Um, it's so fascinating to me how much I can how much more I can get just by listening.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And that's probably because I'm ADD, so I'm paying attention to the moving things on the screen. So w when I turn off the moving things on the screen or ignore them, then I can hear what's happening.
Yeah, anyways, we have digressed quite long enough.
I think we've done long enough. I think we did a good
Mm,
job.
okay, that's enough digression. Let's digress about something else. Our D20 gave us a 19, which led to this question. What if your world had multiple suns, each casting a different color of light, and different types of magic were only possible under each sun?
This is fascinating. I love this question. I love thinking about all the different things. I mean, do you only have one sun at a time? What happens if you have 2 suns, and is it a mixture of colors? And I don't know,
Are
do you
all
have
of
to
them
have
on the visible spectrum?
yeah. Well, that I'm gonna assume that most is not, but,
I would hope
um
not.
so you don't even know that you have a secret power until
Mm-hmm.
that spectrum announces itself.
Yep.
I mean, that's fascinating to me.
And what if with the orbit you only get some of them 1 or 2 days a year?
Yep,
There's a
very
whole
interesting.
there's a whole lot of crazy going on here.
It's all yeah, there absolutely. Um, have you seen the series, The Three Body Problem?
Mhm.
That's what this reminded me of on some level.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I can see that. It's been a while, but yes, I have seen that.
Um,
This honestly, this kind of feels like a Black Mirror episode to me, but
you've seen that way more times than I have. I've only seen like 4 or 5 episodes.
I think there's only like 12, but yeah.
Okay, then I've only seen 2 or 3.
They do
Um,
Black Mirror like 3 or 4 episodes at a time, so
Yeah, I haven't seen that many. Um, Although the one about uh, never mind. I can't think of all the words, so we're gonna move ahead with our question today.
Yeah.
What if what if your world had multiple suns, each casting a different color light, and different types of magic were only possible under each sun? I think this would be fascinating. I think this would be because you can't control which sun appears when, right?
Yeah.
Or where. Can't control that. But if it's by spectrums of light, why can't you just have fake lights? Um, so if it was an urban fantasy, right? They're gonna
Hmm.
produce lights to produce these spectrums
Or eliminate the spectrums.
or eliminate. How would you eliminate the spectrums in a light?
I'll
And
say
what good
you're
it would it
dealing
do?
with
Oh, you're doing a I see what you're saying. You're doing
like a
a
dystopian kind of thing where nobody can have magic except the government or whatever.
so the
You
government create.
could theoretically filter the light in a city, and then like your, for lack of a better term, your Gestapo, your police or whatever have lights that let them have power that nobody else can have, or something like that. Um, but my brain likes to go dark on stuff like this for some reason.
It does. You are right. But what I like about that storyline that you just brought up is the idea that it's been 2 or 3 generations. So by the 3rd generation, they don't even know they have powers.
Exactly.
And so now now suddenly the filter breaks or there's a crack
Mm-hmm.
and now they discover they have powers and how are they going to release them? That's a cute story. Cute. That's an interesting storyline.
Yep.
Um,
Viva la revolution.
I mean, if multiple suns. Oh, what if one of the suns was dying? Because as the sun dies, it's changed its
Mm.
spectrum.
Yeah. Yeah.
So now the world was one way, and now it's changing, and people have different powers than they did before, or they don't have powers.
Or the powers become unpredictable. You could be
I
in the
like
middle
the
of something and it turns into something else.
I like the idea too that when this sun and that sun are out at this time of day, because atmosphere would help what changes the spectrum, right?
Mm-hmm.
I am able to do this. Right? So everybody in society has to do something at a certain time of day because that's the only time they have the magical power to do it. Um, so people's powers change over the year. That's interesting to me.
That's a cool idea. Well, this is also pulling my brain into like the Airbender sort of world,
Yeah.
the cartoon Airbender.
Mhm.
Because like, well, water and fire in particular are tied to the moon and the sun. Waterbending gets more powerful under the moon, firebending gets more powerful under the sun. A solar eclipse knocks out the firebending, a lunar eclipse knocks out the waterbending, that sort of thing. So you could do something similar here where, the orbit comes close enough to your sun for a certain part of the year, and that's when your power is the strongest, and you need to get as much done in that amount of time as you can, or that's when you go to war or whatever. And I don't know. It's an interesting concept. I'm not sure how to implement it.
Yeah, I'm right. What's the goal? What's the purpose? Where so we know how all this magic works, but what story can we create inside of it? Um
Mm-hmm.
you came up with a good idea was, like the Gestapo, trying to subdue everybody's um magic. And I came up with the idea of okay, 3 generations later, now they don't know they have magic in front of them, they're gonna discover it.
Mm-hmm.
That's the story. Um,
Yeah, that could be fun for sure.
but my idea of depending upon the time of year, time of day, everybody will have a certain power. What good is that? Where's my story for that? I don't really have one. That's just a world
Well,
building
I
thing.
feel like you would end up with a very regimented society.
Well,
because of
maybe.
that. Like, oh, you have, I don't know, plant powers from the green sun or whatever, but those work best between 7 and 9 a.m. So your shift is between like 6 and 10, and you deal with water, and we need water the most in the evening, and that kind of thing.
Well, that's
Um,
no different than seasons. We gotta
no,
harvest in the fall and
it's just broken down to an hour by hour level instead
Mhm.
of
But again,
months
that's
at a
no
time.
story. That is a setting. That is a world building thing. That's not a
And
story. I don't know
we're
how
a
to make that
world
a
building
story.
show.
We are. So I can build a beautiful world, but now how to make it into a story that's interesting,
And
you
that's
know?
always the hard part, isn't it?
Mhm.
You know, you can build all the world you want. Making it into a story is difficult.
Make it into a story that people want to consume.
Mm-hmm. I think that's part of what drew me to D&D in the first place is I could build the world and then just put any old story in that world. I didn't have to have the story revolve around the world. So,
Mhm.
but we all know that that was a while ago and it snowballed a lot.
A lot.
A lot.
Big time.
Yep.
I don't know. I would like to keep this idea in my world building folder, but I
Yeah,
don't have a story for it yet.
you can have it. This one's in your wheelhouse, not mine.
Yep.
Yep. Well, that was fun.
Well, that was fun. Oh, before we sign off, I've got some statistics.
Oh boy.
So, up till now,
Mhm.
you said this was episode 65,
Yes, it
right?
is.
But we have posted 69 episodes because we had a couple of extra story things. Okay. So,
Yeah.
as a team, we have produced, created, whatever, 69 episodes.
Nice.
We've had 1,038 downloads.
Nice.
Yay. 86 in the last month.
Hey, we're trending upwards.
We have 31 Facebook followers. And as announced last episode, 1 YouTube follower. So, we've got work to do.
But hey, all of those are better than 0.
All of those are better than 0, but anyone listening, if you want to become our third host and help us increase those numbers.
Do you have a degree in online marketing? We need your help. No, we can't pay you, but we're friendly.
And you get to put your voice on the air.
Hey, you get to talk to the internet. I know what you might be thinking. You can do that on your own, but it's not nearly as much fun. So come join
Come
the
on,
team.
we're the barrel of laughing, laughter, laughs.
We're
whatever.
something. We're something.
We're something. Okay,
We're
now you
something.
can do your closing. Well, that was fun.
That was depressing. If you have a what if you want us to build out, send it to whysouthistup@gmail.com or hit us up on our Facebook page. If you have something you want us to look at or know someone who would make a good guest or want to be a guest yourself, send that to the same place. And if you don't like what we had to say, tell us. We're always happy to argue with you.
I want to hear why your idea is better out there, listener. So tell us why, whatever what if scenario we came up with, you came up with a better answer. We want to hear it.
Yeah, we want to hear. We don't do this for the money. We do it for the arguments.
We are not doing this for money. That is for sure. It costs me more money in alcohol.
That's true, actually. I had to do the
Our-
math on that.
No, we're not going to do the math on that.
How much have we spent in 3 years on alcohol making a podcast? All right, everybody. Thanks for listening. Stay curious and trust yourself to always wing it like an author. We'll catch you next time.
Catch you next time. Toodles.